Do, 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 do.
Hey guys, Spartan here, and recently I've been playing quite a bit of Lucky Tower Ultimate, and I decided that while I was looping, I might as well start and make a bit of a guide of a few tips and tricks of things that can help you through the game if you're having trouble. So let's start by bodies. You should always try to carry a corpse around with you. They are very useful, much more than you think so. Most notably, they can be used to disarm spikes, and you should try and keep one with you, even if you dump it off in the room and then go back to grab more treasure, because one of the most common events is giving Evelius something to eat, and a corpse from an enemy is actually one of the highest scoring things you can basically give him. So, yep, can be quite beneficial to just bring one along with you, because obviously it's just a whole bunch better than giving him nothing. Also, another thing you could use to satisfy him, however, is these little bones you find. They also give plenty of score for some reason. And something else that you'll see a bunch in these games is beehives. They're not incredibly useful unless you actually bother to try and pick them up, because what you can do is you can press the attack button and shoot out bees. This isn't actually that useful in itself, but once you've removed all the bees from the hive, you can press the equip button and you can wear it as a hat, which is actually kind of decent. It's like on par with a peasant cap and very easy to get. So yeah, go ahead and give it a try. So one of the most annoying enemies to deal with in this game are the slimes. So they aren't really that threatening on their own, but they are very, very hard to kill, meaning that you cannot actually kill them with normal weapons. They just turn into this ooze on the floor, and they become a sticky hazard, which alone can't damage you, but it can cause you to die from other hazards, like it'll make it harder for you to jump, and it will slow you down, so spike traps can be annoying. So what can you do? You can just pick them up and eat them. Yep, you can actually just pick it up and eat these things, and it has no negative effect to it, at least currently in the game. So yep, go ahead and eat them up. Now, what you can also do with the pickup mechanic is if you don't have any armor or anything, you can just go ahead and pick up and throw an enemy, and you can grab whatever they're wearing. For instance, this enemy had chainmail on it, so I could just equip that if I had nothing better. You can also use this to grab the beehive hat, or the beekeeper helmet, which is one of the very few ways you can actually, get this item, because it's so rare, other than using a magic lamp to go and grab it. Pretty useful. Just kidding. But regardless, a magic wand can also do both of the things in this list, as in the instant death spell can be used to kill an enemy that has armor, and it will drop that armor completely undamaged, and a transform spell from a magic wand, for instance I'm using a higher tier wand so it's more likely, will instantly destroy slimes, including the big ones. So yep, you can get rid of them permanently with that as well. A hidden mechanic in this game is actually a sort of a weight system, where if you're carrying a heavy item or you're wearing heavy armor, then these wind enemies are actually a whole lot harder to push you around, so a little weight can be quite helpful in certain places. Now when Von Wernst says this hammer could repair some damage, he is not lying. In case you haven't figured it out yet, you can unequip your armor by holding the unequip button, or the general interact button. And you can take the hammer and go ahead and smash your armor with it. If it's either of the armors made of iron or chainmail, you can use it to repair them. This is very important, because golden armor, for instance, can take multiple hits from instant death things. Like, you can take an instant hit and then can be repaired, so yeah, keeping a hammer is a good idea. Now, if you see a wizard, what you should really do is always shake these things. They have a very good chance of dropping a whole bunch of useful things, such as the magic lamp, for instance, what it dropped right here. And the magic lamp, for instance, I don't think I need to explain why this is one of the best items in the game. You can use it as in place of anything you need. If you want a super-powered weapon, grab a big sword. If you want some super-powered armor, grab the golden armor. If you want just random high-tier loot, grab one of the very high-tier large chests. I don't think I need to explain this. Now, if you're at a stage and the lights are going out, then that means that the instant death darkness enemies are going to show up. So what you can just do is leave the room, and then come back at whenever you're ready, and the lights will all be back on. So you don't have to go through in one run. Just go back to the entrance, and take your time. It'll be a whole lot easier than just trying to bum rush through the whole stage. If you want to get some gold back in the town, then it can be hard bringing a whole bunch of useful and valuable items. But what you can do is just throw junk off the tower. Yep. If you drop an item and it goes off the tower, or throw it off, then when you get down to outside the tower, if you win the run, then you will find those items just chilling wherever you would have thrown them. So, yep, for this instance, just a piece of armor, magic wand. They're right there, so just go ahead and sell them, or keep them in your home. Either way works. Now, these sleeping enemies, they seem pretty dangerous. They can one-shot you, but if you just creep up to them slowly and have a weapon, then you'll get to a sweet spot where you can just hit them freely. This is a lot easier with longer range weapons like brooms, for instance, which can easily do this. Now, one of the hardest events Ivelius can give you is him taking all of your gear, aka no gearing up. But you can grab as much gear as you really want along your run. As long as you manage to take it off before you interact with him, he will still consider this a success, and you can just pick up everything. It will seem like everything is repaired, but everything is in fact not repaired. It's as damaged as it normally is, so grab a hammer. Also, this is unrelated as a tip, but if this event happens twice, then it becomes kind of bugged, as in he'll try to take everything of yours, and all that stuff is uninteractable. But the next time you see him, he will give back everything from both events, meaning that this is an item duplication exploit. For instance here, he gave me back my gold armor, which I didn't have on the second go-around, and 2 full coin purses, so I guess this is a way to gold exploit, maybe? So, an item that you should not ever underestimate is the damage of the shuriken. It is generally a really powerful item. Here's a demonstration. That is the Cup Game player. He is the tankiest enemy and the strongest enemy that naturally spawns, and the shuriken one-shots him. It's like the hammer, but it has range. And it's very effective against certain hazards, like for instance the fan enemy. You can just throw a shuriken at them and get rid of them instantly, no hassle. Even if there's spikes or anything like that that can make it difficult, no issue. Shuriken is also sharp, so it can cut down the wires of the anvils. So that's a lot safer to travel by without having to actually trigger them manually. And the final tip I have for you is these gates here, which usually you have someone stand on the buttons or use a corpse or something like that to get past them. Or maybe this is the lever puzzle ones that you need to deal with. You don't really need to do them as normally as you'd think. So for instance, if you have no corpses, no buddies, all you need is a small item. You can approach the gate, and you can just throw it through the bars and activate these levers. And let's say, for instance, you didn't have either of these, and you could just use a normal item and throw it over the top to activate them and get through a lot easier. And that's the final little exploit, or not exploit, trick, for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I might post more tips later on if anything noteworthy comes up, and of course I did cut out, or not include a bunch of more obvious things. So, yep. I hope you enjoyed regardless. I'll see you guys in the next video I make. Till then, goodbye.